top focus this morning is on the killing of 5 Indian soldiers on a peacekeeping mission in South Sudan. Army sources are telling CNN that the post-mortem of the soldiers is being conducted today. Sources say arrangements are being made to fly the bodies back to India later today or latest by tomorrow. 5 soldiers, including a captain, were also injured. 2 of them are being flown back today itself. Both require urgent medical treatment. The US has meanwhile condemned the killing of the Indian peacekeepers and asked the government of South Sudan to conduct a fair investigation. 5 Indian Army personnel, including a lieutenant colonel, were killed and 4 injured when a UN peacekeeping convoy was attacked.
It's my sad duty to confirm to you that 5 Indian peacekeepers were killed earlier today in the morning in an ambush in Jonglei in southern Sudan, where they were serving as UN peacekeepers with UNMISS, which is a UN peacekeeping operation. In addition, 4 Indian peacekeepers have also been injured.
In a reaction, the UN mission in Sudan has said this attack will not deter the UN mission and its peacekeepers from working to protect vulnerable communities in South Sudan. The UN mission is determined to continue its work in supporting authorities ensure peace. All right, for more, let's get in a word from our Strategic Affairs Editor Surya Gangadharan, who's joining us live from our newsroom this morning. Surya, we're being told that all the 5 bodies are being flown back today itself. 2 of the soldiers who were injured are also being flown in for urgent medical treatment. What's the reaction coming in from the ministry, apart from the fact that they're saying that this is a condemnable incident?
Well, this is part and parcel of peacekeeping. I mean, it's a very uncertain thing to do, especially in places like South Sudan that have just come out of civil war. And there are groups there, tribal groups, militias that have their own agendas. And not everybody there is working in a synergistic manner. Many groups are at cross purposes. And in the process, the investigation will determine whether this attack on the convoy was the result of deliberate effort to hit the UN, or was it something else? Was it some other fight taking place in which these people got drawn in and got hit? So that's what the investigation will determine. But clearly, as far as the UN mission is concerned, the Indian unit is deployed there, the battalion of the Mahar Regiment and a mechanized infantry regiment. They remain on station, and there is no plans for pulling back from there. This is a mission that will continue.
Right, and Surya, as you're saying that initial reports are saying that this was an ambush by the local militia, but the UN also asking the Sudanese government to conduct a fair probe.
The South Sudanese government will, I presume, conduct a probe, assuming they are in a position to do so, because they've got independence recently. I'm not sure exactly how much of their own territory they control. There are groups there that are not in consonance with the government. So it's a rather confused situation, and this area where it happened, Jonglei, borders Ethiopia. We are not clear if these militia which attacked this convoy runs off into Ethiopia for sanctuary. Is there any role played by by groups in Ethiopia which are supporting this group? So it's a rather confused situation, frankly. We'll have to the investigation alone will determine exactly what happened and who are the groups involved.
Right, and Surya, South Sudan, as you were saying, has recently gained independence. What's the political situation like in that country?
Well, it's rather confused, as I said earlier. The area is oil rich, so all the more reason for certain groups to demand access to oil, try and ensure that they're in a position to fight off efforts by the central government to assert its authority. There will be lots of local interests here, and somewhere down the line, somebody perhaps decided among these groups to hit the UN, whether to signal dissatisfaction with the current stabilization efforts underway, or to send a signal to the South Sudanese government. So something has happened there. The investigation will determine exactly why it happened, who's involved.